I know Marab was getting involved there as well, but could you take anything out of that interaction or not really?
Nothing really. You know, it was the first time I was really face to face with Aljo. I've had confrontation with him and had, like, with our clothes on, but you know, seeing he's jacked. That dude's jacked, but he's not big. He's not big. You know, he fights with his chin up a little bit. I was just letting him know, you know, you gotta tuck that chin a little bit, or I'm gonna find it.
Obviously, it's going to be built as this grappler versus striker matchup, but even in this fight we saw that, you know, his striking is pretty unorthodox. He kind of moves, he bends over a lot. When you look at his style versus your style, how do you see the fight playing out, and where do you think you find success?
You know, the way I beat Aljo is focused, 25 minutes, disciplined, you know, straight punches, and you know, I don't want to give away too much, but you know, Aljo's beatable. He's very beatable. I thought he lost tonight. Very excited for this. And
last one from me. When can we expect it? I think he said September in there, but if you had a preference, when would you like to fight?
The sooner the better. You know, we'll see. We'll see what the UFC says. I'm sure they're getting something figured out here very soon.
Yeah, Sean. Obviously, it was a competitive fight in there. Do you know which rounds exactly you felt that Henry was winning, or is it kind of hard to keep track?
It's hard to keep track. I'd hate to be a judge, to be honest. You know, watching the fight. You know, if you're not writing it down, I fucking forget. But I do remember kind of thinking, you know, Henry was up.
Yeah, and obviously when you do end up fighting him, like, he seems like he's, you know, had some close fights, yawn, all that stuff. What do you need to do to make it definitive so it's not this kind of coin toss when it goes down to the wire?
Do what Marlon Moraes did, put his lights out. That's how you get the job done. And
you being kind of fantasizing about this day that you fight for a title and become world champion since very early on. It's here. It's very soon. Just how motivating, exciting is that for you?
Yeah, you know, the Suga era is about to start. It starts with Aljo. Very excited. You know, I'm not running low on motivation.
Thank you.
Sean, over here. So
congratulations, thank you. We're about to say.
No, I wasn't going to say congratulations. I was going to ask, are you willing to fight like here or in New York if they do an MSG card?
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, how long would you be willing to wait? Because like, sometimes people complain Aljo likes to take time in between fights.
I don't think he's got a choice. He doesn't have a choice. He's going to fight sooner than later.
And then you kind of got into the styles, but are you at all concerned with the wrestling, especially him being able to keep up with Triple C tonight?
Yeah, everyone's style is different. Styles make matchups. I do believe I'm going to be very hard to get a hold of, and it's going to be a very interesting fight. I'm excited for it. Thanks, guys.
Probably like 75%.
But I'm on that box.
Yeah, do you have it? Can I get it? What? Sean was up. Oh, he was. Yeah. Huh? You don't have internet?
Now I do.
Okay.
All right, so you can chill now.
Somebody had.
Cost. No, but also.
Cost 1 second.
You're
The audio box was off.
No, I told them.
audio box is off. The audio?
Can I charger?
And I get it up. There you go. Need a few seconds. Give me one. Hang on just a second. Go ahead. While you
Do you want this?
What?
Below?
No, we can.
All right.
Max, let me get the shade.
All good? Yep. Just a second, Val. We'll just change that accord here. Just a second.
You have audio?
Sorry about that, guys.
Well,
What up?
congrats, man. Obviously, hard-fought victory, short notice and everything. Just give us your immediate thoughts on what happened tonight.
My immediate thoughts were, I told you guys, I'm the best welterweight in the world, and to go out there and beat a guy like Gilbert Burns, 3 weeks notice, coming off Ramadan. You guys have no idea what we went through to get to here, but I love my team, love my crew, and I know with our faith in ourselves and our faith in God, we get through anything.
So tell us about what you went through, because there's a lot of the Twitter investigative journalists looking at you stepping off the scale and walking into the arena tonight, maybe a limp. Did you come into this fight injured?
Yeah, I mean, you go into every fight a little bit injured, especially a 3-week notice fight. You're like wanting to rush into stuff, and you get right into hard training, and then you go through a couple things. But like I said, there's nothing that was going to stop me from walking to this case tonight. There was nothing that was going to stop me from not doing it, because this was my chance. This was my moment to prove to the world and show the world what I'm capable of doing. And to do that, I know that there was no pulling out. There was nothing like, oh man, you know what, never mind. It was like, once I made the decision, we had to go through with it, and thank God we got through it.
So looking ahead, who do you think you are going to be fighting for the welterweight title? Will it be Leon Edwards or Colby Covington?
Both of them can get it. I cannot wait, man. I'm just glad that the boss, the man, Dana White, shout out to Dana for saying it and giving me the opportunity to fight for my shot. And now I earned my shot. I took my shot. There's no denying me now. All I needed to hear was there's nothing next but the title shot. So, whew, can't wait.
Perfect world. When do you make this happen?
Perfect world. We're fighting in October in Abu Dhabi. That's the perfect world. But I know both those guys. My brother. See, you got the champ right there. That's when you got a champ saying you deserve the title shot. That means that says a lot about you. Shout out to Jamal Hill. But yeah, perfect worlds fighting in Abu Dhabi. That would be amazing. You know there ain't gonna be no booing out there. To fight over there in front of my people would be great. But wherever it goes, man, we can fight in enemy territory and friendly territory and no territory. Just give me a cage and some gloves, and I'm ready to throw down.
Are you trying to bounce out of New Jersey as quickly as possible tonight, or what?
Bro, I got the jersey on now. I'm trying to be Team New Jersey, but I'm trying to be nice to these guys. I came in here, wanted to be a co-main event. I took a picture of Frankie Aguirre. Nobody appreciates me, man.
Back here. Congratulations on the win and making every New Jersey resident rethink their life decisions and living here. So congratulations. So obviously Leon Edwards has a championship, but Colby Covington, he talks a lot. He knows how to sell a fight. You know how to sell a fight, and as telling by the press conference of how entertaining you were, would you, for selfish reasons, would you say, maybe I want that fight with Colby Covington, two marketable guys, two guys that know how to talk, shoot that jive, and have that entertaining build-up going into the fight?
Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to fight that guy for years. Like, literally, since I got into the UFC, when I just wanted to fight him and punch him in his face. He just has that face. You know, you ever watch Step Brothers, that face that you want to just punch? Colby Covington has that face. But he's that guy, like, if he gets that title, I could see him wanting to sit out for another 2 years. What, it's been a year and a half since he's fought. Like, he's not a guy that wants to be active. Leon Edwards, we have unfinished business. He beat the the GOAT. He has the longest winning streak. So for me, taking that title from him, especially the way that last fight went, and for him to be satisfied with a fight decision like that, it could go sweeter either way. Like, both of them guys could taste my fists, and I'll be happy with either one.
And in the fight with Gilbert Burns, obviously it was going to the decision. And when did you realize, in what round did you realize that he was potentially hurt and start to readjust, okay, I got to watch out for the right, got to watch out for kicks, the left hand is going to be nullified?
You know, we're looking at it. My coach noticed in the 4th round, and he brought it to my attention. But he's still a dangerous guy, and he's one of those guys where when he's hurt, that's when he's most dangerous. So we still just had to be careful because he was still throwing bombs. And I was like, all right, he caught me with that one a little bit. So it's just he's not on the ropes yet. He's still there. And like we saw with the Kamzat fight, when he's hurt, that's when he's the scariest.
Congratulations on the win, and even though I'm a New Jersey resident, you said we suck. Congratulations, it was an awesome performance.
I'm sorry, I just don't curse, so like that's always my one-liner is you guys suck. But I love New Jersey, man. Sopranos is the best.
Belal, right here again. Congrats, man. The booze. Is that like fuel for you? Do you like that? Because that was really loud, dude. I don't know how you did that.
Honestly, it was amazing. It was like good energy, like any type of energy. I'd rather have that type of energy than no energy, right? And I felt it. I knew it was going to come, especially for the press conference and the weigh-ins. So, like, I was prepared for it. Like, I was having my coach boo me in the locker room, and he was booing me as I was hitting passes. I'm like, bro, all right, we're done. And he was like, nah, I want to keep booing you. And I was like, all right, cool. So we prepared for everything. We're ready for everything at all points. Like I said, enemy territory, friendly territory, we could throw it on anywhere.
And then coming off a knockout win, now largely standing against someone a lot of people said will, in quotes, outstrike you. Are you falling in love with your hands a little bit, man?
No, I love falling in love with proving people wrong. Like, people don't understand the work we put in. Me and my team, my guys, I'm working with the best team in the world. And people are going to start asking us literally to write books. Like, man, what do you guys do for training? I get so many fighters, hey, what do you guys do with that drill? How do you guys drill like that? And it's like, we're doing the right things. I think we have the perfect mindset, the perfect team, the perfect guys around me, the perfect circle. And we showing you guys we can do anything. My last fight, I wanted to box. This fight, I wanted to kick. The last fight before that, I wanted to wrestle. The fight before that, I wanted to, maybe the next fight, I'm going to pull guard. I'm going to show you guys that I can do it all. It's martial arts, mixed martial arts, and I can do all the mixing.
And then last one from me, October, being that there's no announcement for Leon and Colby yet, might be a bit soon for the title. How long are you willing to wait for that fight?
I mean, as long as I got the guaranteed shot, that's all I needed to hear. So now I know what's next. I know that for this fight right here, I'm sitting there, I'm like waiting. I'm stuck in limbo. I didn't know what was going to happen. Who was going to fight next? What was going to happen next? So then they called me with a fight on 3 weeks' notice, and they're like, all right, I'm going to jump on the opportunity because I'm a guy that's always training, always trying to work, always thinking, and I'm hungry. You guys don't know how hungry I am for this title shot. You don't know how hungry I am to win this gold, and I know it doesn't matter what I have to do. I'm going to get there. So I popped up and took this opportunity at 3 weeks' notice just because he said, you win this fight, you're getting the title shot. So now that I have the title shot, whoever has the belt, it's like you don't have no idea what's going to come to you. It's going to be the best version of me that you ever seen in your life because this was 3 weeks' notice. Give me 8 weeks' notice. Give me 12 weeks' notice. So it's going to be harder for them guys. So if I'm them, I want to fight right away and then get a quick turnaround right away so they don't have to deal with the best version of me.
2 more questions.
Quick version over here on your far left, Muhammad. Far left, keep looking left. Hi.
Oh.
Quick question for you about the output from Gilbert. It seemed a little slow in the early rounds, and obviously he got hurt and it didn't pick up. But were you at all surprised that he wasn't throwing a whole lot more than he was?
No, I think my team did a good job of reading what we wanted to do. We wanted to attack the body hard with the left kick. And when people go in there and they feel my left kick, it hurts. And they don't want to throw off of it. I caught him a couple times where he threw his big overhand and I caught him with the body kick. And I think that me switching stances, it made him overthink the process. And when I have you overthinking, you don't want to throw because he's wondering, he switched to this stance, he switched to that stance. He's a guy that usually plants his feet and he wants to throw off of planting his feet. And if I'm always moving always messing with his mind, trying to make him faint and stuff like that, he can't plant his feet, he can't throw. So I think that played a big part in it.
Belal, another Ramadan, another win. Is there something to it? Maybe the fasting, like you're saying you're hungry, but I'm sure you're also literally hungry at times during this. Is there something like mentally you could speak about, the type of focus that you go through during this period of the year?
Yeah, I think that, more than fasting, more than not eating, it's like a deep cleansing of your spirit and of your soul. And I think that I'm like my purest form right after Ramadan, because that's when I've gotten closest to God. And that's when me trusting God's plan no matter what. And even with this fight, I took it on 3 weeks' notice. And it was like 1 weekend, I was like, man, I still got this much weight to cut. I got this injury. What the heck? Why would I take this fight? I should have pulled out. I should have did this. But it's like, God put me here for a reason. God made this happen for a reason. God's timing is the best timing. So no matter what happens, just trust Him. Thank you, guys.
All right, gang. The attendance was 17,559, sold out. The gate was 5.12 million. Highest grossing sporting event in the arena's history. Fight of the night was Movsar versus Lopez, and performance of the night went to Xiaonan for Vola. They all won 50,000.
What's
up, buddy?
Obviously, Dana, fun main event, technical main event, close main event. How did you score it in the final fight of the night?
Yeah, I mean, I had Aljo winning the fight.
Yeah, but still close, right?
Very close fight. Yeah.
What did you think of Henry's performance after 3 years away from the
Incredible.
cage?
Yeah, you know, I'm a big believer in ring rust, and you know, not only did he fight 5 tough rounds against a guy much bigger than him, you know, yeah, he looked good.
And then for Aljamain, it looked like initially Henry might have the wrestling advantage, but Aljo was able to take his back a couple of times, get the hooks in. What was your reaction?
One of the things that impresses me about Henry Cejudo is, like the Marias fight, after the first round I said, ooh, Henry's in trouble tonight. And then he makes these adjustments and comes back in the second round and looks unbelievable. So, yeah, I thought both guys fought a hell of a fight.
Before this fight, we were talking about whoever wins, it does something for their legacy, right? For Aljo, it cements him as being one of the best bantamweights of all time. Do you think after that performance that is fair, that he is one of those, the best in history?
Yeah, it was a big win for him. It was obviously a big win. You know, there's a lot of, like I said, leading up to this fight, you know, there's the Peter Yan fight, and then there's the Dillashaw fight, and, you know, going in and you know, grueling it out for 5 rounds with Henry Cejudo, regardless of the weight and size difference, it's a big deal to beat Henry.
You know, you usually don't make fights on the night of the fight.
But you're going to ask me anyway?
Well, I feel like it's fair to say Sean O'Malley's probably next for Aljamain Sterling, right? I mean,
that what?
That Sean O'Malley might just be next for Aljamain.
Yeah, I've had better ideas than what I did tonight. Not a great idea, but yes, he's next.
Yeah, when you bring him into the cage and they have the face-off and then you slowly see it start to escalate with Merab, do you just think, I shouldn't?
Yeah, it was a bad idea.
Do we have any sort of timeline on when we'd like to do that fight?
Yeah, probably August.
Okay. In Boston?
Probably.
Okay, cool. Gilbert Burns, Belal Muhammad. Belal got the win. Gilbert looked to be fighting kind of injured. I'm curious of your reaction to that fight.
Yeah, he had a tear in his shoulder. I think it was that first scramble on the ground there when he took him down, and he's got a tear. Yeah. And
we're safe to say Belal is fighting the winner of Leon versus Colby.
And what's that?
Belal.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, and the last one for me, I wanted to sort of give some props to Diego Lopez. Stepped in on 5 days' notice against Movsar, nearly tapped him in the first round, fought really hard in the third round. On 5 days' notice, pretty impressive.
Awesome. Incredible performance. Kid's got a ton of heart. He's an absolute dog. Loved every minute of it, yeah.
And what did we think of his haircut?
Well, listen, he fought so good, let's leave his haircut alone. Go ahead.
Dana, I want to ask about Yan Xiaonan. Obviously, a great finish of Jessica Andrade. We had her back here, and I was asking her like how big a fight between her and Zhang could be for China. Do you have any insight on like the metrics of maybe you can't do it there right now, but like what could that do for that market that you guys have been continuing to push into?
You know what's crazy is Teddy Atlas was sitting with me during that fight, and Andrade kept throwing lead left hooks. And he says if she keeps, this girl throws great straight right hands. If she keeps throwing that lead left hook, she's going to knock her out with a straight right. And he literally called exactly what was going to happen. And she threw like 3 hooks in a row. He literally called it 2 minutes before it happened because she kept throwing these lead left. He says when people are sparring and they're throwing lead left hooks like that against somebody who can throw, I literally jump in the ring and tell them to stop. And I break up the whole sparring and break it down. But he literally called that was going to happen. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do with Yan, where she's going to go, but I'm definitely going to look at China. Yeah.
You could potentially go back to China and do an event there. Wow.
I'm looking at that right now.
And what did you think of Kron Gracie tonight?
You know, I like Kron a lot, and he's a good kid. He came in very limited tonight, very limited. You know, it was like coming out of a time capsule in 1995, you know what I mean? Tough way to try to win a fight these days.
Yeah, 30th anniversary, you'd never think you'd kind of see that.
Well, the kid's got a ton of heart. He's got a good chin. I like him, and you know, I don't want to shit on his performance, but yeah, that was a rough game plan.
Yeah, and on the featured prelim, Matt Frivola, great finish, first person to knock out Drew Dober in like 12 years or something. He keeps calling out Patty. He wants this fight real bad. I know Patty's nursing some injuries, but is he a guy maybe you look at to grant that wish? Just
I have no idea. I mean, all these fights at that level are all about timing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And last thing, nothing to do with this card, but the last few days we've seen Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya going back and forth a lot on social media, and Alex is kind of hinting that he wants that MMA trilogy. Do you have any indication? Is he still wanting to go to 205, or is he maybe reconsidering to try to get that fight again?
First of all, I didn't even know that. But yeah, no, he's going to 205. Yeah.
Any idea when we could see that debut?
No, none.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Dana, over here to your right.
Hey.
So May 20th, Aldana's out of the main event. Do you guys have a new main event for that card? May 20th, Aldana's out.
Oh yeah. You're talking about Raquel.
Yeah.
No, we don't have another fight for that. Raquel's going to be the backup for that fight, and yeah, I don't know what we're doing there yet.
Okay, and then more immediately, or I guess rather not more
I
immediately.
thought you were telling me something I didn't know, and that Aldana was out of the fight. I was like, when the fuck did that happen? Nobody told me.
Definitely not. But you know, tonight Belal's next. Do we have any progress with Leon and Colby?
No.
Dana White,
Yep.
Congratulations on a great night.
Thank you.
You packed the house in New Jersey, a Prudential Center. You came back every fight delivered. How impressed were you with Aljamain Sterling and Henry Cejudo taking that initiative to sell this fight and pretty much pack this house, or help pack this house?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a matter of those guys trying to sell the fight. I mean, if you are a fight fan, you realize that this was a great fight between two guys who stylistically match up very well. And the card was a fun card, you know, and I love when they deliver. The fights were awesome tonight. From the first prelim, the second prelim, on throughout the rest of the night, the fights were great.
And how impressed were you with Gilbert Burns? He was obviously hurt, but he lasted all 5 rounds. He was fighting with essentially one hand. Like, how impressed were you with Gilbert Burns?
I'm always impressed with Gilbert Burns. You know, his fight with Khamzat Chimaev was unbelievable. And then what he did in Miami a few weeks ago was unbelievable. And the fact that he wanted to turn around this fast, I have nothing but respect for that kid. And to think that he would fight with one shoulder is not shocking. He's an absolute savage.
And after the long layoff, Henry Cejudo obviously didn't fight since 2019. He took off his gloves at the end of the fight, and I got a little bit worried that he might be retiring, and he said he doesn't know what he wants. Are you going to try to talk him into staying and not, you know, he had a great performance. Would you talk him out if he said he wanted to retire or he wanted to?
There's only been a couple guys I've tried to talk out of retiring at the time that they did. You know, it was DC and Habib. You know, Henry's been off for 3 years. He looked great tonight against a guy who's much bigger, much stronger. But, you know, that's up to him, whatever he wants. I mean, I don't think you should have retired the first time. But, you know, if he decides to retire a second time, I probably wouldn't argue with him.
And when's the next time you're coming back to the East Coast? And I'm not afraid to beg.
Yeah, we're talking about Boston this summer. So Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Dana, over to your far right, way over here.
Yep.
I wanted to ask about a little incident we saw last weekend. Conor McGregor kind of came back a little bit. He was in the ring in another promotion in bare knuckle. What were your thoughts on Conor's activities that weekend?
Yeah, no, listen, you know, few people have asked me this. You know, when you're in the business like we're in the business, sometimes it's fun to just go and be a fan. And I think that's what Conor was doing that night. I have no problem with it whatsoever.
Have we any movement on when that Chandler fight is going to happen? I know we just saw the announcement that The Ultimate Fighter is going to air in a few weeks.
Yep.
Any more news?
We don't. Not yet, no.
And I wanted to ask as well, your business partner KSI back in the ring next week. Do you think he's going to win?
Who's he fighting?
Guy 9-0, Joe Fournier.
Interesting. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Dana.
Yep.
After the fight, Merab Dvalishvili, he took Sean O'Malley's jacket. He's currently the #1 ranked bantamweight. What plans do you have for him for his next fight?
I don't know. He doesn't want to fight Aljo. You know what I mean? So I have no idea.
Was that fight offered?
What?
Him versus Aljo?
Oh, yeah. You could have that fight tomorrow. Yeah.
Dana, over here.
Yep.
Speaking of cross promotionals, I saw the UFC Twitter account retweeted a couple weeks ago a promotion from a skateboarding championship series.
Right.
There was a few connections we noticed. It was on Rumble, so with the slap fighting, there was that tit for tat, perhaps. And it turns out that Lorenzo Fertitta is one of the owners of that league or of one of the promotions in that. I'm not sure the exact details of that. What was the UFC's decision to do that? Was this like a favor for a friend? Does Endeavor have a part in this?
Lorenzo and I own it.
You're in part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We own a company called Throw One. We own Ridiculousness. We own SLS. We own Nitrous Circus. And we own Travis Pastrada's NRX Rally Car.
Okay. Didn't know that. So that's going to be just a staple in the cross promotion like slap fighting has been the Slap Power League?
I don't know. If I feel like it, yes.
Fair. Also getting into the slap fighting promotion, not exactly how you probably envisioned it working in the bids. Some good, some bad. A lot of, publicity, negative, your own issues as well. How is this playing forward into the next season? We saw promotions of it on there.
It's been incredible. The deal that I just cut for Slap is bigger than the UFC deal we cut with Spike TV after the first season of The Ultimate Fighter. I don't give a shit what the media says about it. They don't matter.
So money-wise, it's working out, is what you're saying, basically.
It's fucking unbelievable. Not only is it unbelievable money-wise, it's been unbelievable as far as social media goes. We're #1 in all of sports. And when I say all of sports, if you take the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, F1, WWE, and who am I forgetting, and added them all together, their numbers don't compare to Slap's. Yeah. Yeah.
That seems a little doubtful.
Yeah, you can doubt it all you want.
I mean, I was covering for the finale of it, and I saw the numbers on Rumble, and there were people watching, but...
There were people watching. It did 3.2 million viewers, and 1.7 million of them had never been to Rumble before.
Well, I was one of those, that's for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But it certainly, that number didn't show up on that counter that Rumble had.
But that's how it works when you stream. When it's streaming, it's not really the actual number right there. It's the same thing when you go live on Instagram. I mean, is Eric in here? What's a like if you have a big number and you're streaming, how does that exactly work?
Kind of the same as you're saying. So we did Instagram
Right.
Live tonight, the walkout for the main for the Red Court Sports the main event.
Yeah. So he was saying 21,000 concurrents. What's a massive number when you're streaming? I mean, we were the biggest stream on a Saturday for Slap. The good thing is that most of you guys don't understand social media and how it works. And what publication are you from?
MMA Mania.
Okay. I'll give you the numbers on Slap that were done by a third party that does this. We didn't pull the numbers. These guys are like the Nielsen's numbers for social media. We destroy everything in sports with Power Slap.
Okay. And are you at all concerned that some of it is perhaps, I'll apologize in advance because it sounds a little rude, but
No, fire away.
some of it might be laughing at, not with kind of a deal, like bad publicity being, you know.
Do you think I give a shit?
That's
I
why
just
I
pulled.
just asked.
I just did a deal that's bigger than the UFC did when they went on Spike TV. I don't give a shit who's laughing. You know who's laughing? This guy.
There you go.
That's who's laughing.
That answered my question. Thank you.
No, my pleasure.
Dana, right here, just second row on your left.
Yeah.
Just wondering your thoughts on the atmosphere tonight in Newark and the fight week in general, and do you want to come back here?
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, it's been a while since we've been here. We'll be in Atlantic City next. We'll be back in Jersey, and we're doing Atlantic City next. So we have a great relationship with the governor here. He's been awesome to us, and yeah, can't wait.
And then my other question is about Movsar Evloev. He got a good win in a close fight against Diego Lopez. Can you just talk about him, his potential, and what you think about him all around?
Yeah, no, he's a stud, man. Let me tell you what, that arm bar was deep, and that knee bar was deep, and you know, he fought out of both of those, and you know, he's 17-0 now, and I'm excited to see him top 10. See where he ends up on Tuesday. After the media, you know, does their thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Dana, congratulations on another fabulous card in the New York City area. November at the Garden has become a staple, but you've done 3 events in the last 9 months in the area. Any plans to go back to Long Island, maybe Brooklyn, maybe Newark, to do 2 events in this area once a year?
What's the question?
Any plans to do multiple events in the New York area outside of
outside of Jersey? In New York, you mean?
The New York area.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden is that
absolutely. Atlantic City, MSG, and yeah, I don't. Other than that, I don't know right now. But those 2 for sure.
Okay, and a quick point. Aljo mentioned perhaps going to the Caribbean, having a King of the Islands thing. What do you think about going to the Caribbean?
I think that sounds fun, but highly unlikely. Yeah, I bet you my entire staff will want to work that event, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Aljo said the same thing.
Yeah, I would love it. Thank you, sir.
Dana, question. Henry was just so close tonight. Great main event. If he does stay, I know you guys had a brief conversation in the cage. If he does stay, what do you need to? It's hard to say, but two wins, 1 win, and he's right back in the title contention. How do you see his path if he doesn't retire?
It is tough to say. It would, you know, depend on who he fought, what weight class he was in, how he did. I mean, there's just a lot of ifs on something like that. But you know, coming off a 3-year layoff like he has, you know, and again, when you think about what an incredible athlete Henry Cejudo is, and he's coming off a 3-year layoff, and you look at this tough fight he was in tonight, and then you look at Jon Jones and what Jon Jones did. That's why you just can't really say it enough how special and how incredible Jon. I know you asked me about Henry, and I flipped this whole thing into a Jon Jones, but it's just so true. And one of the things about Jones too, for some reason I was thinking about this tonight during the fight. And like when he fought Alexander Gustafsson, it was the first time he'd ever been taken into deep water. And you know, Jon outside the cage didn't make all the best decisions. And who knows how hard he really trained for that fight or what he was doing before that fight. But to dog it out the way that he did, it's just like, you think about all the great fights that happen and you think about the stuff that Jon Jones does, it's pretty special. I know I didn't answer your question, but this is where we ended up. Sorry.
Dana, right down the middle over here. We haven't had an update on either Rose Namajunas or Dustin Poirier in a while. Do you have anything planned for them in the coming months?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys done with me? Go ahead, sir.
So this is the first time we've had Aljamain Sterling as the headliner of a pay-per-view, or really of any event, actually. So how do you feel about him as carrying an event here?
That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, it was sold out, highest grossing event in the arena's history, sporting event. You know, it was good. It was good. It was a good fight. I mean, people knew stylistically. I mean, the crowd, it's in his hometown and people were cheering for Henry. I don't know what that means, but, yeah. You know, at the end of the day, no matter what anybody thinks of either one of these guys, the one thing you did know that it would be a damn good fight.
one thing he's been trying to do for many years, as you know, is trying to get a fight in New York, and he's had some issues with the commissions and the medicals and that kind of thing. Is that something that you can kind of work with the commission for to try and kind of expedite things in any meaningful way to kind of, because he fights everywhere else?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we would, if he wants to fight in New York, we'd do everything we could to try to make it happen. I mean, but the commission tells us what we're going to do. We don't tell them what we're going to do.
Of course.
Yeah.
One more thing about main events here. We are finally going to have a flyweight non-title main event for the first time in 6 years. Is that something you kind of realize as you're planning these events, that we really haven't gone to flyweight to headline these fight night cards?
No. Never crossed my mind at all.
There's a lot of demand for these fights. People like the flyweights. They're exciting. They're fun. Is that something you might think about planning more in the future?
What is your question? I'm confused by this.
To have more flyweight, headliners and that kind of thing, especially on fight night cards.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, just two quick follow-ups.
Yeah.
Speaking of bantamweights, do you know what the latest with Umar Nurmagomedov is?
Everybody's asking. Yeah, we were talking about him earlier. That's a guy not everybody's beating the door down to fight. So, yeah, we'll figure something out with him.
How difficult is it when you have guys like that it's really tough to get them their breakthrough fight?
100%, especially when, it's always hard when you have these guys that are in the top 10. When you start going 7, 6, 5, 4, and then this guy's behind. Nobody wants to take that risk on a guy that isn't ranked. It's tough. Those are the fights. Listen, those are the fights that publicly everybody says they'll take, but privately nobody wants to take them.
Yeah, and just last thing, I want to drop a stat for you. With Henry Cejudo's loss tonight, fighters who are over 35 below the welterweight division are 2-29 in title fights, and Tyron Woodley got both those wins. What does that kind of say about how difficult it is for aging fighters at the lower divisions?
Fascinating. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I never thought about it till right now, but yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Listen, I don't care who you are, how good you are, whatever the deal is. Taking 3 years off. Muhammad Ali was off for 3 years. He never looked the same when he came back. He was still great, still did amazing things, but never looked like he looked before he took 3 years off. It's tough to do. And I don't know. I mean, a lot of you guys in here are combat sports guys, might know the answer to this, but who other than John Jones has taken 3 years off and come back and looked as incredible as he did? Go in there and finish a guy in the heavyweight division, a division in which he's never fought before, as quickly and as easily as he did.
Maybe George St. Pierre, but he had a tough time with Bisping too.
Yeah? I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever done it like John Jones.
Yeah, it's only the greatest ones ever, so that's to show. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Henry, I know not the outcome you were hoping for tonight, but just give us your immediate thoughts on the fight. I know some people felt you won. Sean O'Malley was in here. He said he thought you won. Did you feel you won?
Sure, why not? I gotta rewatch the fight. I just know the improvements that I have to make to flip that. It's like, yeah, I fought my ass off, but at the same time, it has been 3 years, but I had a great training camp. Could have done more. or could have adjusted. Not could have done more, but could have adjusted on some things. And that's kind of what bugs me a little bit. Just stupid little errors, like particularly that first round. I was winning it, put him to his back. I just allowed him to kind of steal it at the very end. And I mean, there's a lot of people who think that I won. I mean, I don't know. You tell me. I mean, typically the way I see it, if I don't dominate, like, it's just hard, man. I'm such a fucking competitor, man. I don't think people realize that. Like, to me, it's all or nothing. If I'm not first, I'm fucking last.
Fair play. I know there was some moments of success, but you kind of said there, like, do you think in some of those sequences, if you didn't have the 3 years, like, before when you were fighting, would you have been a little sharper there? Do you think the time off had a lot to do with it? Because I know you feel you're a smarter fighter now, but was the execution just not there?
Yeah, probably. Like, even when I retired, after I won the Olympics, I retired for 3 years. It was incredible, the fact that I made it all the way to the semifinals at the Olympic trials against the #1 guy in the world, and I missed the Olympic team by that much. I only had like maybe 7-8 matches of competition, but just to like take it there. You know, sometimes you make your own bed, and that's what happens. You know, I got to go back and really think about what is it that I want to do, because I'm out to chase greatness, man. I'm just not out here just to fight, man. Just to hear the crowd roar. You guys tell me, good job. Oh, I think you won. Like, my dream is to just reach mountains that nobody's ever climbed. And I think, and that's partially why I take my resume that serious, and that's probably why I even started the shtick, because I am proud of it. You know, can I say it? The Olympic champ, the flyweight champ, the bantamweight champion of the world, the greatest combat athlete of all time. Like, that's, you know, this is the stuff that motivates me. And it is what it is, man. I will say this, man. Aljo was awkward as hell, dude. Like, he was, like, I now understand the funk. I thought it was just his breath, or the fact that it was probably a little smelly, but the dude was, he is a little awkward in there. If you don't have those right guys to mimic him, it's different. It's just different, because he's a freestyler. Like, he's just, he's out there making adjustments on the move, or he's just moving just to move, or he's doing certain things just to do, and it'll mess with you a little bit.
What do you think? I know when you talked to Rogan in there, you said you're kind of internally conflicted. It's been a few more minutes, not too long, but if you had to bet right now, do we see you fight ever again?
I got to watch the fight. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, Dana did it. It was pretty cool that Dana did help me remove my gloves, which is really nice. I got a nice little handshake from him, too. I don't know, man. I got to lay back. You know, my wife's pregnant. Like, we're getting ready to have another kid. And even these last, 2 to 3 months, like, not being able to give my kid that attention that I'm a good father, man. I love spending time with my kid. I love playing with them. And it's just like cutting weight, not holding her, kind of neglecting that, like just having a lot of my training partners play with her. It's almost like, those are the stuff that, maybe to a lot of people, maybe a lot of you guys don't give a fuck, but to me, the time with my kid means the world to me, especially the fact that I have another one on the way.
No, as it should. And just last thing for me, it still shows you're held in high regard. You probably haven't seen this, but Brandon Moreno took to Instagram and basically called you out. He said after his next fight, he wants to fight you in Mexico City. He would even move up to bantamweight. He said, F the belts. And that's a fight he seems to badly want.
I guess now everybody wants a piece of me, huh? Man, I guess we'll talk about it. I mean, money talks. If the UFC wants to put it together and there's a nice little budget in for both of us, I ain't doing it in Mexico, though. Hell no. We can do it here in America or something like that, but I'm not opposed to any of that.
Yeah. Not to just immediately start building your next fight, but what exactly is the issue for people who don't know between you and Brandon?
We were friends at one point. He even lived with me for a minute, and got him on the Ultimate Fighter show. That didn't plan out. That didn't work out. We picked him. We tried to pick him second due to the way the stats work in the team stuff. He ended up going to the other team. He ended up training with Benavidez, and we just became unfriends. You know what I'm saying? But we were close at one point. But that's the last that I'm thinking of. Like I'm after gold, man. Like my biggest thing was to sincerely beat Aljo, fight O'Malley, and then go after Volkanovski. If I had a close fight, a close split decision with Aljo, I mean, what I had planned with Volkanovski is just like, fuck, man. You know, it hurts me. That's what burns. It's not that Aljo fight. You know what I'm saying? It's the fact that what I had already premeditated. Yeah. I would never come back if I didn't think I could do something like that. And losing in a split decision where a lot of people think that I won, it's just like, I don't know, man. It's I'm a little confused, man. I'm a little pissed, and I'm a little, you know. Anybody think that I won here? You guys can be sincere, man.
I did. From what I understand, everyone cage side saw it closer to your way, and then people online and watching the broadcast saw it closer to his way. So I don't know what you can do with that, but.
If Dana wants to give me another title shot, maybe I'll do that. But if not, I'm just gonna sit down and really talk to the wife and see what I want to do. You know.
I don't know if this is something you even care about at this point, but do you view the way that fight between him and Sean O'Malley could go, and do you have a favorite in that fight? Who could probably win it?
If Aljo can't take him down, he's in trouble. You know, because Sean does have good striking. Sean does go to the body very well. He does have those kicks up the middle. But being in there with Aljamain too, I think he's a gamer. So it all depends. I think obviously having a close fight with Aljo, I got to go with him. You know what I'm saying? I think O'Malley hasn't fought now the competition that Aljo has fought, and now you can I can shake his hand. You know what I'm saying? I can be like, hey, salute.
I mean, not to just throw options at you, and this will be the last one for me. I mean, they have a problem with Merab in that he can't fight for the title. Maybe you could go take care of that problem for them. You beat his teammate, you get a rematch right away.
Hey, I love the storylines you guys are giving me. Okay. I'm gonna take some time. I'm gonna take some time and just talk to Ali, talk to my management, and then it opens up a lot of doors because you also have a lot of other killers too. You know, with Sanhagen and you know, Umar. Like depends what can kind of come together.
And I'm not sure if you'd had time to see this, but Conor McGregor posted a video to his Twitter offering you some advice for your next fight, telling you maybe you should switch stances and it'll go better your way, and offering you some coaching tips.
Man, Conor McGregor don't got shit on my resume. That's all I gotta say. You know, he's been stopped after a 3-year layoff. What I was able to do and compete, and then hearing the boos from the crowd once you know, they announced the winner. I mean, that says a lot to me. But there's still levels, and I still know that I could get better too. But guys, like even like, you know, selling this fight, like it's okay, man. Bring the hate. Maybe it'll motivate me. You know, I'm not one of these guys that was just like, yeah, I'm a little pissed because I hate losing, but I love it. So thank you, Conor.
Henry, way over to your right here, Henry. I wanted to ask.
Sorry about that joke too last time. It was just too good, man. You can't be asking how much I weighed.
It was a good joke. I appreciated it. You know, I wanted to ask about that crowd reaction. Were you surprised at times to hear that Henry?
Yeah. I mean, I think Aljo might be the real heel, dude. I thought I was a heel for a minute. I mean, I'm confused in that sense too.
And when it comes to Conor's messages, one of the things that he has said is that he believes you talked about your resume. He was quite critical of your resume. He said 16-2 in MMA. He said you're a novice in the game. What's your response to that?
Yeah. I do have, you know, for the amount of fights that I do have, I haven't been fighting like a lot of these other guys. You know, it just shows the levels of where I could get to. I mean, but look at the people who I've beaten.
Nope, C-O-R-Y.
Demetrius, TJ, you know what I mean? Dominic Cruz. You know, after a 3-year layoff, I had a split, you know, I lost a split decision to the current champ now. If I decide to make this run, I will reclaim that belt again. You know? But like I said before, like my goal was to go up to 145 pounds. Like that's kind of where I draw the line. You know?
Thank you.
Henry, over here. Si tuvieras que decir un porcentaje hoy, ¿dónde piensas que regresarías? ¿135
o 145 pensando a lo mejor en construir esa idea que tenías de ir por el tercer cinturón?
Repite la pregunta.
Si tuvieras que decir un porcentaje hoy, ¿de dónde pensarías que regresa? ¿135 o 145 pensando en ese tercer cinturón?
No, pues es difícil empezar en eso ahorita, ¿sí me entiendes? Después de una derrota, o sea, ustedes tienen un chingo de fe en mí. Y yo también. Solo que, cuando pierdes es difícil de tener ese ánimo, ¿sí me entiendes? Especialmente de todo lo que pasó y todo eso. Ahorita no estoy pensando en eso, la verdad. Quiero ver la pelea, quiero ver cómo me fue y mi mujer está embarazada ahorita. Ya te dije que lo vamos a ir a la Ciudad de México por un tiempito para vivir. Y estar ahí, ¿sí me entiendes? O sea, lo más importante para mí es mi familia. Yo he hecho ese deporte desde los 11 años a los 73 a lo máximo. Y logré todo lo que yo quería lograr. I'm going to repeat this, man. Guys, I've been doing this shit since age 11 to age 33 at the highest levels and won everything I've ever desired to do. I'm not out here for the fucking crowds. I'm not out here. Even though I portray that on the cameras, I'm not out here. Yeah, I may flex on it. I'm out here to make history. And if I can't make history, I'm not doing this shit. Like that's how much of a competitor I am. I just telling my coach, like, yeah, you won. But I didn't win. The belt's not around my waist, and I just gotta talk to my family, talk to my wife, and then just take it from there. It has nothing to do with anybody. It has nothing to do with ego. It just has to do with me. It's like trying to climb Mount Everest and you don't do it. You either do it or you don't. That's it.
Sé que no has visto el post de Brandon, pero puso una foto que yo les tomé en tu cuarto en UFC 196 cuando ibas a pelear con Dimitrius. Te gustan mucho los storylines y sí sería, no lo construiste así, pero terminó siendo como una pelea que la gente quiere ver.
Sí, claro, yo sé las cosas que yo necesito hacer en esa pelea, cómo ajustar y todo eso. Si yo regreso a pelear, va a haber una diferente versión conmigo. Yo sé las cosas que yo hice mal. Yo sé también las cosas que también hice bien. Primeramente, Brandon, Alexander Pantoja la va a ganar. Yo sé de eso. La verdad, para mí eso no me importa. Yo estoy aquí para ganar títulos mundiales. Y si no es todo, man, si no es todo, no es nada para mí. ¿Sí me entiendes? Son cosas que necesito pensarlas, man. ¿Sí me entiendes? Enséñame el billete y tal vez.
Gracias, Henry.
Triple C.
You think I want Schmo? Be honest. You're my friend.
Yeah, but it wasn't a robbery. Could have gone either way, but I had you winning.
My Hebrew brother.
Question for you. You're the ultimate competitor. How does this feeling compare to the first DJ fight?
Man, well, DJ fucked me up the first time we fought. This feels more like the Benavidez fight, where I lost and people say, hey, dude, you won, bro. Like, I feel that feeling again. But the belt's not around my waist, Smo. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what, you guys can pat me on the back or tell me that it was a close fight. Oh, yeah, I thought you won, blah, blah, blah. But where's my belt?
You're always adjusting and changing things, taking it fight to fight. Is there anything you would have done differently? I know it's fresh in your mind, but is there anything you would have done differently leading up to this fight if you could have done it over again?
Yeah, not let that first one kind of slip away. He kind of stole it after I had taken him down. I relaxed a little too much against the cage. I probably should have respected his cage a little bit more. I was trying to catch a breather in there just to kind of, catch my threshold and be good, but he ended up stealing it. Little things like that, man, that kind of bother me because that's the stuff that I hit on people,
And lastly, now that he has a victory over you, where would you put Aljamain Sterling amongst the all-time bantamweights in UFC history?
Yeah, he beat the Triple C. Put him at number one. You have to, man. I mean, look at the people that he's beaten already.
Henry over
Unless they give us a rematch.
There we go.
Question for you, Henry, on your left, far left. the counter wrestling was excellent. He wasn't able to get in any real shots on you. You were able to stuff, I think, pretty much all of them, or at least made him had to chain a few things. I noticed you weren't doing a whole lot of offensive wrestling, initiating the wrestling exchanges. Was that on purpose, or did that was the flow of the fight? Was it game plan? How'd that play out?
No, because I noticed that Aljamain, he likes to take breathers, like when he's on bottom. If you even notice when I was on top of him, like I made him get up. I'm like, because he'll do certain things where he'll be on bottom and he'll just chill out. He'll just hang. He'll stall out there. So to me, it was like I was going to start with the takedowns if I was able to fatigue him and really break him down, and then bring the takedowns in, and then really get on top of him and start hurting him. But if I wasn't doing that, I got to keep it on my feet, because it's not enough, because he will catch his breather. So that's kind of more of where the game plan was kind of going for me. You know, just adjusting, and I wanted to break him down first before I started really picking up and bringing that wrestling in. And I wasn't doing that. You know?
What do you mean by that?
I didn't hurt him enough to really do that. So take my chances on my feet to really solidify something or win the rounds out. Like I said, man, he'll catch his breathers. Like I've seen it with Jan, and I've seen it with a lot of these other fighters.
Would perhaps a breather not maybe have won you a round?
For him?
For you. Won you a round. If you're on top and he's just stalling out.
I just didn't know. I just didn't know how the rounds were. So I got to go back and rewatch that fight. Like everything's kind of fucking a blur a little bit.
Henry over here. Congratulations on a tremendous performance, especially 3 years away. You looked like you never stepped away. Is it hard, being the competitor that you are, to see the positives? I mean, you guys packed this house, sold out crowd, broke records. You performed like you didn't take a step away from the cage. Is it hard to see the positives right now, just being the competitor that you are?
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. It is hard. But like I said, man, I got to go back, rewatch that fight, and just take it from there. You know? I know there's a better version to me, but, you know, take risks, man. Go in there and try to scrap. You know, like, the only thing I can promise is my best. And my best wasn't enough.
I ran to your buddy Nick, and we were getting lost in the arena trying to find his floor seats, but nevertheless, we talked. It just seems like you're a perfectionist. You get to the highest level of the sport, wrestling, and MMA, being that perfectionist. Is this going to just take time for you to get acclimated to? You're a perfectionist, obviously being a father, a husband, like living this life and navigating these new steps in life that you have taken. Is it just going to take time just to, balance everything out and find a way to be a perfectionist in all these different areas of your life, especially being a newfound father?
Yeah, and it is different. And there's one thing that I will say that I never planned on doing is fighting when I had kids. Because to be the best in the world is you have to be so selfish. And when I'm in fight camp, you have to be so selfish, like all about you. To me, it was a bit different with the family. But there's no excuse, you know what I'm saying? Because there's love and there's other motivations that comes with that stuff. But that's kind of where I stand. Anyway, who got the bonus? Did we get a bonus or no? No.
Thank you.
Henry, you were talking about the Benavidez fight before. How long did it take you to kind of process that defeat? Which you obviously kind of have people saying, okay, we think you won, but you didn't feel like you won. How long did it take you to process that? And do you think that maybe it'll play out similarly for you here?
Yeah, maybe. I just think because it's been 3 years and I've been able to help a lot of people, do some amazing things and make certain adjustments for them, that it's been, it's just different, man. It's like you can't serve two masters, and I have to make that decision. Because if I'm in full time if I'm going to do this, then I'm in full time, or I just can't dabble into both. Like I said, guys, my biggest thing is I want it all. If I can't have it all, I don't want none of it. And I mean that.
You were talking about earlier in the week, you guys were planning on doing some stuff in the city, maybe go get some pizza, that kind of thing. Is this the type of thing where maybe you change plans, or are you still going to try and do some family stuff and try to get out there and move away from this, at least temporarily?
Yeah, of course, man. Like, it's, I owe it to my wife. I owe it to my family. I'm going to Brazil here in a few days. We're going to enjoy the city a little bit, Pizza might be a little bitter, but we're gonna enjoy it.
Thank you.
Henry, just got one for you on your left. So I know there was a lot of talk about the grappling between him and D3 and all of that stuff, but once you got in there and now that it's done, can you just talk about how close of a matchup it really was? Those grappling exchanges were pretty nice to see and really close.
Yeah, what were the takedown ratios? I don't even know.
I don't know the stats off the top of my head.
I'll pull it up right now.
I think that'll help.
Wi-Fi is struggling.
Yeah.
You have it? Good, yes.
What'd you think, Mike? What'd you think of the fight?
Cage side, I thought you were up 3-1 going into the fifth, but that was only one angle, no replays, anything like that, so it's kind of hard to see. But that first round was very close, and I think the back take was a big piece of it. Takedowns, he was credited with 4, you were credited with 3.
Okay.
He had 135 significant strikes, you had 99. Control time, you had 5 minutes, he had 4.
Okay, so I won. Yeah, dude, the dude, either way, dude, you're a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was able, of course, dude, if he was able to, and he did say something, if I'm able to lock my hands, it's different. And then I felt that, I'm just like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't have taken it there. I should have just, could have defended a little earlier rather than just kind of just hanging out. But sometimes I'll leave people there so they can carry my weight to fatigue them, and I'll do that. And that's from wrestling all these years. But he was able to kind of carry that gas tank, and I think that's where it was at for him. It was his threshold. I wasn't expecting him to continue to keep coming like that. He did a good job, dude. He did a good job.
Hey, Triple C, back here. Quick one for me. They just posted the scorecard, and in the 5th round, the same judge that scored your fight against Joseph Benavidez for Benavidez was the one that scored it for Aljo in the 5th round.
Who is it? What's his name, by the way?
I mean, according to the scorecards, Derek Clearly.
Oh, he's got something. I don't know if I owe him money. I don't know what. I just don't know, guys. I mean, it is what it is. I got to rewatch that fight, and then if they want to give me another title shot, let's do it. Yeah, thank you guys so much, dude. I really appreciate it, man. I try to put, try to make everything entertaining, dude. And I appreciate you guys. I really do, man, sincerely. It's been 3 years, and since I come back, but coming back, I'm just like, man, you guys are diehards too, man, just like us. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm out.
Let me guess. No one else.
Aljo, you've had a few, obviously, milestone victories in your career, but I've got to imagine that this one in New Jersey feels as sweet as any of the rest of them.
This one in New Jersey is definitely the sweetest for multiple reasons. My first main event, taking on a legend, someone so accomplished like Henry Cejudo is not an easy task, man. Like, yeah, we both do YouTube channels and we analyze and break down fights, but dude, the guy is freaking smart. I don't think a lot of people can even appreciate what was going on in the middle of that octagon. Both of us making adjustments to each other's adjustments. It was a high-level physical chess match, and thankfully, I think I came out just a little bit better, and maybe that means my YouTube channel is a little bit better.
Were you said you think it came out a little bit better. Were you confident when it was going to the judges, when it got announced to split? Were you a bit nervous? What was the emotions?
I mean, I was confident I won. I was like, I definitely feel like I won that 3-2. But at the same time, I was like, you just never know, man. Like, people give ring generalship to the guy who's just walking forward and making a mean face. And it's like the other guy circling around you, dancing around you, making you look silly, you're missing, and they give it to the other guy because he came forward. I'm like, that doesn't score. Scoring fights is literally doing damage. If I'm dancing around you, I'm using my footwork, and you can't touch me, that's me controlling the octagon. If you are cutting me off as you're pressuring me and I'm on the backside of the cage and you're landing shots, you're controlling the octagon, you're controlling the action. But that's not what happened tonight, so close fight. But I definitely thought I won and edged it out. In my personal opinion, I know there's going to be some critics out there saying, oh, once again, he has a controversial win. He didn't really win that. Man, SMD, bro. Get used to this face because it's not going anywhere, guys. It's not.
You're obviously a fan of this. I'm curious, got into some wrestling exchanges, took us back a couple of times, but what was it like to tangle in the wrestling department with a gold medalist?
I think I'm an Olympic gold medalist now. I think, what was that, 3 takedowns, I think? At least 2.
You got 4.
4?
You got 3.
I lost count. But no, seriously, though, strong guy. I knew I was going to do better in the clinch with the body lock. He did a great job utilizing the inside leg trip. Even though I kind of knew it was coming, but there were certain positions I was like, I want him to tie out with me there because I feel like I could bang him to the body a couple of times with some knees. And I know Mighty Mouse hurt him there, and I felt like I can expose that situation. So I felt like if he didn't get the trip, he might be a little bit lost in those positions and probably try to bail. I think he might have overcommitted with the wrestling and gave me more opportunities to take him down than he probably would have liked. But that's what I'm saying. It's such a high-level chess matches, game of inches, split-second decisions, and I came out on top of that.
Yeah. I mean, just personally curious, do you think he was the highest skilled guy you fought, just from terms of spending time in the cage? Was his adjustments, you're like, wow, this guy is really elite?
100%. I mean, Petr Yan, high-level striker. TJ Dillashaw, high-level striker as well. Even though he came in slightly compromised, I fought with a torn labrum as well. So, I'm not giving TJ an excuse to get out of that. But Henry came prepared, and that's what I liked about this matchup. There was no excuses. No one's going to come in here and as soon as the fight's over, I banged up my toe and I couldn't move the right way. And shut up, man. Nobody wants to hear that. We all have opinions. We all have excuses, and they all stink. Nobody wants to hear that, So, like I said, highly skilled guy. I came out on top. Most wins in the bantamweight division. I don't even like tooting my own horn, but the records speak for themselves. I've been saying this for a long time. People can keep doubting me, but I've only had 3 opponents that were not ranked in my entire career that I fought, and I think it was in my win streak that I fought. Yeah, 3 of them that weren't ranked. So I think it's about time people start putting some respect on my name.
Next up, Sean O'Malley. You had your in-cage face-off. Curious if you were able to take anything out of that, and they look like they want, or Dana was saying he would like to see it maybe August in Boston, if that's something that would work for you. Thoughts on Sean O'Malley?
My thoughts on Sean O'Malley is that motherfucker is frail. Frail. You think if I could take down a short, stocky guy like Henry, who's actually a gold medalist and has good takedown defense, what am I going to do to Sean O'Malley? Like, let's be honest here, guys. Like, yeah, he's been promised the title shot. He opted not to take the title shot and gave Henry a chance to come back and chase history. I beat Henry. Now there's no more running. You know, you either want to swim with the big boys or you don't. If not, get the fuck out of the pool or go up a weight class or some shit. Don't keep sitting around here talking and barking and not saddling it up and taking the opportunities that are given. This is what the sport's all about. You take the opportunities that are given to you. I guarantee you, we step in there, I think I fold that man in half in one round. It's just going to... Same thing I did to Sandhagen. Go out there, pressure forward. He's going to use his footwork. I'm going to cut off the cage like I was just talking about. Eventually, he's going to be on his back foot, let him throw a stupid kick that I'm going to catch. I'm going to body lock him. I'm going to fold him in half like a lawn chair, and that's going to be the fight. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Don't even need to see it now. You just gave us the perfect breakdown right here in front of you, Aljo. Just that chaos in there, though, like a lot of people think something with him and Merab. Did it feel like it was close to getting out of control for a moment in the cage there afterwards?
I don't know. I was in a different world. I was ready to jump on his back if I needed to. I think I might have tapped him and turned him around, or I don't even know what I did. But I was just like, yo, don't fuck with my boy. That's pretty much it.
Do you think he knows that you're the tougher fight for him? He tweeted out earlier today before the event, like, please, Henry, win this fight.
Yeah, 100%. It's like you want to fight the guy who's 5'4" and you're 5'11". You're a better striker. You're longer. Your range. It just makes more sense for him to fight Henry. Gives him the best opportunity to become a UFC champion. Styles make fights. Physicality makes fights. And that's what people have to do. You have to analyze the situation and break it down. And I think sometimes people just forget about all those things and they just look at, oh, he's so good. The Flash, his hair is colorful and he smokes weed. Dude, I smoke weed. Like, what the hell are we talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Definitely the tougher fight. Jiu-jitsu, wrestling. I can strike. My striking is very awkward, I will say. Even with Henry, I thought I was going to piece him up with a couple of shots from the outside, and it didn't quite go that way. In my head, it looked a lot better as like reality versus what it looks like. So I know there's going to be some things I got to tighten up with that, especially going in there with a guy like Amali, because he's had almost a year to make adjustments. But I'll be ready, and I'm not priding myself to be a striker. I am a grappler foremost. So if you have a problem with that, like Khabib says, his father's plan, I'm coming out there with a purpose and it's to take you down and drown you, and that's it.
Is it exciting to prepare for a fight where your opponent is more or less one-dimensional compared to these recent guys that you've been fighting who, you know, have strong wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and striking?
Is it more exciting?
Yeah, and is it going to be maybe an easier camp and more straightforward approach for you of what you need to do?
And none of these camps are easy, man. I got some hammers that I train with. You know, and it's a fight's a fight. Like, he can easily land a 1-2 that stings me right on the chin and put me down. And that's just what it is. It's a fist fight. Like, anything can happen in there. And I understand that. The last time I underestimated somebody, I was staring at the lights. And I don't even remember staring at the lights. I woke up in a hospital. I came to my senses in a hospital against Marlon Moraes. You know, so I've been humbled by this sport. And I think O'Malley needs to be humbled again. I guess him breaking his foot against Cheeto, that wasn't enough for him, so I got to do it again to him.
And just last thing from me, Henry was just in here before you. He feels maybe he won the fight, but he's saying he need to watch it back, and he seems very internally conflicted about what he's going to do in the future. What would be your advice, Jim? Do you think he should stick around and be part of this stacked division and work towards a rematch?
Yeah, why not? I mean, the more big names, the more exciting it is for this division. And I think more people are going to want to gun for him to add his name to their resume. Henry's no easy out for anybody. I know he doesn't like cutting the weight down to 125. He was a thick boy in there. I think it'd be fun to have him around for sure. And, you know, I plan on fighting O'Malley and then going up and chasing Volkanovski. So I'm taking Henry's blueprint, and I just need to get one more. And then I think that's it for 135.
Hey, Champ, on that note, congratulations on the victory. So it's a guarantee that you only have one more fight at the 135-pound weight division before you go up to 145?
It just depends on how the fight goes. You know, if I lose, you know, knock on wood, then, you know, I stick around. Merab gets his shot at 135 for the belt, and I help him, and it is what it is. Fighting at 135, I don't want to say I'm the bigger guy, but I make the weight, you know, but the weight cut is not easy, and it's not as fun going through the training camps when you have to make sure you're predominantly cutting weight, when you could be skill building. And I'm not saying that's how much weight I cut. It's just I'm very lean, and I've gotten older. It makes it harder. 145 could be a breath of fresh life for me, and it can make it easier for me to fight more frequently. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I could bulk up a little bit. Maybe I'm not fading in that 5th round as much as I'm doing now. I don't think I really faded in the 5th round tonight. I think it was just Henry's energy and his demeanor to want to win that round really shine through. And I was kind of kicking myself about that because I wanted to dominate the 5th round and show my dominance. And I was really pissed about that. So that's one of the, that's probably why I was a little more reluctant to celebrate, because I want to put a stamp on it, something kind of like a highlight or a cool ending to the fight, even like a Max Holloway thing, pointing to the ground like, let's fucking go. Like, I wanted that, but then he got the takedown, kept me against the cage. I was like, this is not the way I wanted the end of the 5th round to go. But it is what it is.
A positive thing he said about you was you are the greatest bantamweight of all time. Asked him that. So when you hear that from Henry Cejudo, how does that make you feel?
I appreciate it. I let the fans decide that, though. And it is what it is. I can't really... That's not for me to call. That's why I love sports, because everyone has a different opinion on who's the greatest and why they're the greatest, and that's up for interpretation. So I let the fans decide on that. And for me, I know I'm up there. I know I'm in that conversation, and at the end of the day, I'm comfortable in my own skin. You know, I don't need that for approval to feel self-worth. You know, I'm happy. I accomplished a lot in this sport. I accomplished a lot in this division. I'm making history. My name's going to be in the history books for years to come, decades to come. And good luck to anybody out there who's going to try to chase that resume, because it's going to be very tough to beat.
And lastly, you've been dealing with nagging injuries quite some time now. You went down to Columbia Bioaccelerator. You got the stem cells. How are you feeling overall with this camp? And you think you're going to have to need any surgeries or anything like that before the next fight?
I mean, right now I'm feeling good. I think I could take a few weeks off and let the stem cells continue to do their thing, build on the injuries with the rehab stuff that I'm doing over at the UFC PI. Aljamain Sterling Day is May 23rd, so I get to celebrate that back in Long Island, Nassau County. So I'm excited about that. I get to have some downtime with my friends, actually create some memories outside of fighting. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Just signed a new partnership with Nerd Focus. So there's a lot of good things. Nootropic energy drink. So I'm just looking towards the future, keep my body healthy, do as best as I can to stay consistent. I would like to fight in September, then fight again in December. People think I just want to sit on the sidelines. I only get paid when I fight. So, guys, I don't want to sit on the sidelines. I want to be active. But when I get injured, do these training camps, it's hard, you know? So I'm trying to do the best that I can. All of us like to make money. All of us want to be active. And we know the fans love it. So that's what we're trying to do. We try to put it on the line for them time in and time out.
Congrats.
Congratulations on a huge win. You packed this house. You broke records. You and Henry put on a masterpiece. Like, you guys were Van Gogh and Rembrandt out there. You guys painted a masterpiece on that canvas. Is this more than just a title defense for you? This is validation. You are everything that you say you are?
I felt validated well before this, but I know for the fans, some of the fans out there, they might feel like this gives me a little bit more validity, but everyone's going to always have an opinion. They're going to have something to criticize and say, and at the end of the day, that's not for me to judge. It is what it is. What can I do? I can't force someone to believe what I believe. If it's either you agree or you don't agree. I'm out here trying to chase something great. I'm out here really trying to do something with my life, and I'm not saying other people aren't. But this ain't an easy sport, man. There's a lot of people who don't stick around. They don't last very long, barely even make it to their second UFC contract. I've been here since 2014, and that says a lot. That says a lot about my resilience, says a lot about perseverance, just not quitting, giving up on yourself when the time gets tough. I lost 2 fights in a row, split decision to 2 guys ranked in the top 10, and my job was on the line. You know, that after my very first contract going into my second one, after talking a whole lot of shit about wanting to fight, get paid, and then I lose 2 fights in a row. So that's how quickly things could change. I could be here one day, down here the next. So I don't take it for granted whatsoever. And I think that's what people should try to realize about life. Just don't take nothing for granted, man. Life is short. Go out there, chase the things that you want to do, and go get it, man. Don't let no one dictate or tell you what you can and cannot do, because if you do that your entire life, you'll never get nowhere. And if I listen to everyone else who said I was done, I had no chin and whatnot, you know, I'll just be back home just being a gym teacher and never knowing what I could have truly accomplished because I didn't chase my dream and my goals. Here I am today. 3 defenses in a row. Like, life is fucking good. Like, I had no idea I'd be here. Bought my mom a house, bought her a car. Like, life, this is icing on the cake for me. Like, thank you to the UFC staff for providing this opportunity for me to ever set out to do something like this. And gratitude is the biggest way of just showing signs of respect for me. And yeah, I might talk a little shit to my opponents, but at the end of the day, I know we're all chasing the same dreams. And like I said before, sometimes in the sport, you got to crush another man's dreams to accomplish your own.
You showcase so much creativity and intelligence in there, and the strategy, it seemed like, because some of it was just way over my head, some of the technique that you were showcasing, but what's the strategy to make sure that he didn't get that shot off? Because people stay out of the pocket, and that's what Henry uses, because people are afraid of the takedown. So, you know, he always keeps people at bay because they're afraid of the takedown. He's able to get shots off. What's the strategy from the great Regalongo and the great Matt Serra and yourself to keep that pressure on, and how soon were you able to make adjustments, and did you have a plan B and plan C in case that didn't work?
Yeah, I always have a plan B and plan C. You got to be able to adjust. And I think coming into this fight, collectively, we all knew, like, if I get the fight to the ground, he's fucked. But, you know, for the most part, I didn't really get to do too much on the ground because of the timing of when I got the takedowns. So it was just more so trying to be creative on the feet, not taking too much damage and inflicting as much as I can to try to outpoint where I can outpoint. And if I could get the takedown, try to do as much damage as I can, and in the clinch, beat him up in the clinch, being the bigger, heavier guy, longer guy. I know he had some trouble with Mighty Mouse in the clinch position, and I felt my range and my length, being able to just lift my knees, attack the body, I'll be able to beat him up in those positions, and that's what we did tonight. So collectively, we all have like our ideas that we think about, which can be the keys to victory, and that's just kind of the way we go. Like at this stage of the game, if these fighters aren't taking notes, that's a sad thing. You have to be able to adjust in the middle of the fight. If you can't make adjustments, good luck, because it is hard, man. You get to the top, you don't get here by accident. You have to be one of those guys who can flip the switch, change it up, in literally split seconds and make reads.
And one more question from me. Can we all agree after this week that Merab is a national treasure and needs to be protected at all costs? I think we all need a friend like Merab in life, just saying.
Oh, 100%, man. Like I said, this guy would take his shirt off for anybody, even not even knowing any one of you guys, he would do that for you guys. That's just the type of dude he is. And there's not a lot of good people in the world like that today. I think sometimes people forget, like, even though, you know, we fight this kind of a rough, savage sport, but we're still human at the end of the day, and he's like a prime example of what it's like to be outside of the cage. Like, we're in here, we're trying to be vicious, we're trying to break records, we're trying to hurt each other. But outside of that, you know, he's a really good dude. We're really good people. At least I like to think that. And I think that's the way you kind of got to live your life. Like, I treat the janitor the same way I treat the president of the UFC. Like, there's no difference, you know, and I think that shows a lot of character. And when I see people judge people and treat people different ways because of their status in life, I don't like that. I can't get behind someone who's like that.
Champ, over here to the far right over here, I wanted to ask about, did you get a chance to see Conor McGregor's messages after the fight? He was very complimentary. He said you won the fight 4-1, and he was not very complimentary of Henry's performance.
Conor's my guy. Proper 12, baby. Let's go. No, I didn't see the tweet yet, but I would like to talk to Conor about pursuing my own rum career with my own drink. I'm looking to still launch my own line. I got some stuff lined up, some designs and some things like that in the works. I do like to drink. I actually didn't drink this entire training camp, which is a first for me in a very long time. But, you know, life is about creating new adventures and things like that. Eventually, this door is going to close. I want to make sure I set myself up. So I do appreciate the words from Conor. He was very complimentary of Merab before his fight with Petr Yan when we met him in Vegas. And I like watching him fight. He's a pioneer of the sport. Like, if you can't respect that guy, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I know some of the stuff, some of the antics could get a little crazy, but what he's done and accomplished, I think, is hard to ignore.
Final two. And Aljo right here. Congratulations. How was it having Coach Serra back in your corner tonight?
It was great. You know, it was cool, especially, like, we're back on the East Coast. We're in New Jersey where everyone fought coming up because it was illegal in New York for such a long time. So to have the whole band back together was cool to have. The energy was positive. Everyone was dialed in, alert. And that's what it's all about, everyone being on the same page. And, like, even the other guys that I've had in the past, like for me, I I'm good with, like, it doesn't really matter who's in the corner, but it does matter, like, the camaraderie kind of thing, you know? So it was cool having that again, and having that original Long Island feel again. So that was nice to do. And on top of that, making history with the guys that I started with, you know? So I'm definitely appreciative of that, and glad he took my offer to come back and jump in with me and chase a dream.
Aljo, over here. You mentioned not drinking in the lead up to this fight. How did your body feel and kind of respond to that? And do you think that's something you'll be repeating?
Nah. I like to drink, man. You know what it is? These training camps are so hard. After I have a crazy hard sparring session, if I feel like I'm in a certain threshold of my conditioning, that's like my release. You know, everyone has a release, has a vice, something that kind of lets them reset. And it's not like I get drunk or wasted doing training camp, but I'll have like 1 or 2 drinks, and that's it. And it makes me feel better, it makes me feel more happy going through the grind. Because if you're just serious all the time, and then you're not even guaranteed to win. You know, like I could have lost that fight and it'd be like, well, I didn't drink for no reason. You know what I mean? So it's about sacrifices and things like that. Yeah, I do sacrifice all the other stuff, but you know, you got to have a little bit of a balance. So it's not something that I'm going to say I'm going to go back to. This was more so because of the injury that I had. I wanted to give the stem cells the proper time, not destroy it with alcohol. And I can't say I felt a lot better. I really can't say that. But maybe there's something to it. I don't know. But for me, I'd rather be happy and train versus like thinking about it and be like, man, I wish, you know. So I'm not going to go. I don't condone binge drinking, but I do condone just enjoying your life and having a balance. There's got to be a work-life balance.
And the other question I wanted to ask was about your teammate Matt Frivola, who got a big victory as well. What did you think of that?
Steamroller, big win, baby. Welcome to the top 15, baby. The steam has arrived. We got some killers coming up, man. There's a lot of young guns coming up. Frivola finally getting his breakthrough shine. 3 knockouts in a row in the first round. We got Nassim also. 3rd round TKO, a lot of 55ers. We got some hammers, man. I try to give these guys shine as much as I can because when I was coming up, I didn't have anybody doing that for me. So I try to highlight these guys as much as possible. They are super special talent. And if you guys like strikers, those are the guys to watch. Like, I ain't the striker, guys. I'm the grappler. I'm going to take you down. I'm going to drown you, backpack you. Those guys, they bang. So if you want to watch some high-level striking, those are the guys to keep your eyes on because they're fun to watch. You got to watch their sparring sessions. It's like, it's pay-per-view. It's literally pay-per-view sessions.
Thank you, Aljo.
Thank you guys, man. Appreciate you all. Be safe and get home safe and have a drink for me. Cinco de Mayo, baby. Let's go.